Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and let's hear what Elon Musk says about the magic money printer that he's discovered in the government.
So I call a magic money computer any computer which can just make money out of thin air. That's magic money.
So how does that work?
It just issues payments.
And you said something like 11 of these computers at Treasury that are sending out trillions in payments?
They're mostly at Treasury. Some are, but there's some at HHS, some there's one or two at State, there's some at DOD. I think we found now 14 magic money computers.
14, okay.
They just send money out of nothing.
Out of nothing. You know who else used the term magic money? Joseph Luben. Several times. Okay, he said that's why he's been able to build his business, is because we can make up this magic money. No, this is interesting. John Deaton was on this X profile coinage. This is where I think Eleanor Terrett just went. So John did an interview with them today, and it turns out John thinks there could never be a bullish time, in his opinion, in this industry. Listen to this. This is a great clip.
Different than that, we've got a president of the United States who has said they're going to make America the crypto capital of the world. We have an executive order establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve with also, which isn't just hodling the 200,000 Bitcoin that America has, but actually saying to the the Secretary of Treasury, who is a Bitcoiner, and the Secretary of Commerce, who is a Bitcoiner and also involved with Tether, I want you to find budget neutral ways to acquire Bitcoin. You'd have never imagined that in a million years. And so I think it's official that the anti-crypto army of Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler, are done.
Yeah, no, and I think there's a lot of people that are excited to finally see that, just kind of considering all the shenanigans that played out in terms of, trying to undercut this industry. And really, I think, as you've championed, John, kind of undercut retail traders who are out there kind of trying to find a new system that works for them. I think there's also still, though, kind of this weird, phase right now where all of this is playing out. Obviously, a lot of changes happening in DC. And one of the questions I wanted to pose to you was around kind of what we're seeing. Ripple's been on a tear since the election, and that's one thing. And I think it's kind of interesting because obviously would love to get your take on kind of the SEC versus Ripple case as it exists now. But weirdly, I feel like Ripple's borne the brunt of kind of the downside when the SEC was going after them. But if they win, it kind of spills over to the rest of altcoins. And so I think it's kind of interesting to think about that in terms of the excitement and upswing in Ripple, maybe not being shared by the rest of kind of cryptos beyond Bitcoin and ETH. I mean, what do you make of that case, where we're at now, and what it says about the rest of the crypto space?
Yeah, it just shows you what a difference a couple years in an election can make. I mean, I think that we've seen the SEC officially dismiss the Coinbase case, the Kraken case. We've seen them end investigations against not dozens, but hundreds of companies that got Wells notices, Gemini, Robinhood, big names in the industry. The SEC is, folded their tent and said, we're done. Go innovate, and we're taking that boot off your neck. And so a lot of people have been expecting, especially in the XRP community, well, why hasn't the SEC v. Ripple case completely resolved? Everybody's got to understand it was a little different, right? There was an actual ruling by a judge who ruled early sales of XRP, needed to be registered and gave an injunction saying you can't sell like that anymore, direct sales, but secondary sales are okay. So there's a lot of finagling legally of how to remove that. There's been lots of reports, and maybe Eleanor, who's coming on in a little bit, will have more insight on her sources. But, there's a lot of talk that SEC and Ripple are close to coming up with a resolution that is going to end all of that litigation. And I think we're seeing what happens when you get a level playing field and innovation has an opportunity to breathe. And so I know a lot of people are upset, Zach, or maybe not upset, but impatient about price action and why isn't Bitcoin over 100,000 and why haven't the altcoins moved the way that they were expected to maybe. I think that's all going to play out, but there could be never a more bullish time, in my opinion, for this industry. You know, I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm telling you, as someone who has, 84% of his net worth in the asset class, obviously I'm pretty bullish.
All right, that is interesting stuff. So is this. U.S. money supply growth is accelerating. Let's get down to this part. Global money supply has risen $2 trillion over the last 2 months. It's the highest since September 2024. Money supply is expanding again. That's a lot of time. That's when crypto booms, folks. Standard Chartered has slashed its 2025 year-end ETH price target to 4,000 from 10,000. I don't know what's going on there, but I have a feeling we'll find out. And then here's Anthony Pompano. Before you watch this video, reminder that he tweeted on August 31st, 2017. If you think Bitcoin went on a tear once CNBC and institutional investors learned about it, just wait till they discover Ripple XRP. But now he's telling you there'll never be a better Bitcoin.
Now, Bitcoin has defied the odds over the last 15 years. It went from a small, teeny little unknown project to the largest computer network in the world, and it's now valued at more than $1.5 trillion. Even though no one person controls it. This type of asymmetric
Actually, there's 4 Satoshis.
Success will always leave a trail of critics' tears in its wake, and that's exactly what Bitcoin has been doing. One of the loudest critics over the years has been famed angel investor and podcaster Jason Calacanis. Now, while his wife bought Bitcoin early on, and she knew not to sell it, Jason has been publicly critical of the digital currency at various points in Bitcoin's rise. The most recent comments came in an X post that reads, Bitcoin has been a wonderful game, but with a couple giant players cornering the market, the timing is right to build a better Bitcoin, restarting the game. Folks cornering the market will say this is foolish while they donate to Trump to encourage more buying. But all technology gets replaced over time, and Bitcoin will be no different. Now, here's the thing. I like Jason a lot, and you can't deny his absolutely stellar startup investing track record. He's one of the best to ever do it. But there are a number of things wrong with his bold statement about Bitcoin. First, all technology does not get replaced over time. There's plenty of disruption that happens in this industry, but the internet is not going away. There will be no better internet. Neither are mobile phones, electricity, or Bitcoin. Second, contrary to Jason's claim, no one has cornered the Bitcoin market. The largest holders of Bitcoin only own a single-digit percentage of coins. On top,
yeah, but you combine about 7 or 10 of them, and all of a sudden it becomes a big number. You know, them plus the 4 Satoshis that supposedly they don't know who it is when they really do. Crazy Michael Saylor has acquired another 130 Bitcoin, just to let you know. And then I want you to listen to another Bitcoin delusional rant. This guy's telling you once you understand Bitcoin, you should never look at any other asset, basically. Cuckoo.
Like, you can be very zen about Bitcoin because it simplifies so many things. Like, if you do your homework and you study this, it could be one
That's a thumbnail, Bitcoin Zen. Is that how bad it is?
of the only things you need to study in the whole realm of economics. Like, you don't have to go to your banker and try to figure out, like, is this the best fund or is that one the best, or comparing banks with each other. There's a little bit of that because you want to store Bitcoin in a safe way. But still, I think over the long run, like, I mean, think about how many hours people spend trying to figure out, like, the mortgage rates, and if you're going to invest, like, how does that work, and the tax laws keep changing, and how do you deal with that? Whereas Bitcoin is like, it's portable wealth, it's scarce, it doesn't change. The only thing that changes is people's reactions towards it. So sometimes it's going to be worth a hell of a lot, other times it's going to be a little bit less, but over the long run, it's going to, you know, really store the value for you and your family. So I think there's something incredibly zen about that. It just, all that decision fatigue just...
Man, there's something incredibly crazy about that to me. Okay, this is a good reminder from Riz. This is your incoming SEC chair.
So, people are running into, a brick wall at the SEC. There's the lawsuit against Ripple. A lot of things riding on that. So that's like a really interesting thing to follow in this space.
It kind of reiterates what John Deaton said a minute ago. Now, this is an interesting commentary. This is from Brad Combs of Digital Perspectives. This makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
Nonetheless, I do think it speaks to what I have said here about the idea that Bitcoin's been floated in as this financial band-aid. I've even gone as far as to say, for the geopolitical argument's sake, you're watching the tariffs be used as a leverage tool to get U.S. manufacturing back in this country and out of China. And in order to do that, I think you have to recognize Bitcoin, or China is the second largest holder of Bitcoin, which means that if they put it in a strategic reserve in the U.S., they're obviously going to drive the price up. And who's going to benefit? The second largest holder of Bitcoin, China, right? Well, if they're going to benefit and you're ripping the manufacturing out of their country, which is the heart of their economy, and they're in a recession right now, this may be the parting gift to keep us from physical war with China. So more to come. We'll follow it.
Let me translate with a question. Was all of this created to prevent World War III the same way I was told years ago by someone who would know that XRP was created to replace the petrodollar and prevent World War III? That's the question. Okay, we're going to go into the group. If you want to join through Patreon, go to daixrp.com. If you want to join through the YouTube, it's the same group. It's just a different way to join. YouTube, click right below this video, click the join button, and we do the extended videos with no advertising in there. So we're going to talk about some gold and some other stuff in there. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.